Here's a 15-minute sequence for the lowest part of your body. We're going to be mostly in the legs, but everything from the waist down. The benefit is if you have any wrist issues, we'll be nice and kind to those. So we're going to get started in hero's pose. And since this is our first pose, I would highly recommend propping it. So you want to come forward. I'm going to use a yoga block, but don't worry if you don't have one. And you're going to place it between your heels and you're going to put your sit bones on it. The reason I say don't worry if you don't have a yoga block, you could take a blanket towel. You can see I have mine folded up to about the same thickness as a yoga block. And that will go under the sit bones, right between the feet. So now I'm in a nice propped up heroes. That is going to keep me from putting too much weight on my ankles and my shins. It's going to keep me from going too deep in my knees as I'm still getting warmed up. But it is going to provide this amazing stretch in the front of the ankles and in the shins. So just like we would at the beginning of any class, we'll take a few moments here. We want to really connect with our bodies, where our legs are meeting themselves, our hands and our laps. It's a wonderful way to ground by just acknowledging where we connect to our mats and our own bodies. Once we have that foundation, we can think about growing our spine from the floor. So we're connected to the mat. Each inhale is lifting us up a little taller. Each exhale is softening our shoulders, our face, and gently engaging the core, which is very supportive to our lower backs. Any seated pose, it can be tempting to put a bit of arc in your spine. A light core engagement, especially on the exhale, is going to take that arc out. So we're just inhaling length. And exhaling release. Each inhale lifting up tall. Each exhale settling us into the mat and softening our bodies. And then we'll take a little tip forward. We'll remove our props. And we'll give our toes a little curl under to start to counter that movement. So moving nice and slow, nothing jarring to the ankles. How does that feel? If you feel pretty good, you can start to walk your hands back and come into our toe squat, or sometimes called broken toe. Low toe squat sounds a little bit nicer. Now you don't have to sit up on your heels, though you certainly can, but if your arches, your toes are tight, you could be tipped forward, looking for your long spine, and just adding a little bit more weight as your body starts to open up. That might not be today, it might not be tomorrow. Give your feet time. A couple of long exhales. Our exhales are very soothing to our body, our nervous system, and they're going to make our body's natural tendency to resist the stretch just a little easier. So we tip forward, we uncurl, we take the tops of our feet into the mat, little taps out. And a really fun ankle stretch. This is for my plantar fasciitis folks. Take your right toes, align them with your left knee, and have a seat back on your left heel. If this is too much pressure, you have your blanket, your towel, you can always put it between your seat and your ankle, though you certainly don't have to. So, I'm going to turn the arc of our toe and the arc of our knee in a line. And then we just gently start to hinge forward using our own bodies as a lever to open up right around our Achilles and the very lowest part of your calf. So that's why it's so good for plantar fasciitis, because sometimes the pull actually starts in our calves, in our ankles. When we look at that holistically, we want to work the whole lower leg, not just the foot. But we're very mindful. Seat is mostly on the left heel because too much pressure in the chest. We don't want to loosen up our Achilles. We want to create some space, but this tendon is strong for a reason. And then we take a little tip forward. We give our foot time to neutralize, and we're going to do the same on the left. So I'll turn. Remember, it's the arc of the toes aligns with the arc of the right knee. We're back on our right heel so that we are mindfully adding that leverage as we bring our chest towards our now left leg. Feel that stretch. You might feel it right at the base of the calf. Few long exhales here to really inspire your body to release into the posture. We take our tip forward, we come out of this pose back into our tabletop. We give both toes a curl under for just a minute, neutralize, and then go ahead, take your right foot back. We want extension. Now we're bringing the stretch up to our calf. So you're pressing through your heel, and this is the one time we are on our hands. So again, if you feel pressure and you're looking for something more hands-free, take your blanket towel, put it under the heels of the hands. That'll keep you from putting too much weight into the heels and should make this just a little easier to hold. Soft elbows, and we're just gently pressing through the heel to create space in our calf muscle, slowly working our way up the leg. You can always drop your knees, sort of explore the foot, big stretch. And then using the strength of your seat, lift up your leg, engage your core to support your lower back. And we'll drop our foot down and tuck our knee in. We'll do the same on the left. So an extension back, you're on the ball of your foot, you're gently pressing through your heel, bringing the stretch a little higher into the calf. And let it rock. Remember, you can play with sort of dropping the knee, bringing the stretch into your foot, exploring the space, but being very mindful of what does and doesn't work for you. And then we'll float, feeling really strong in our leg, engaging our core to protect our back. We'll drop back down, tuck our knee in. For good measure, just so our spines are in a nice place, let's take 2 rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling our chest up. Exhaling, arcing spine. 1 more inhale. Exhale, arc. We'll come to neutral. I'm going to get rid of my prop, my blanket, towel, and we're just going to come on to our bellies. Have a little roll onto our right side body so we can bend our left knee. You want your knee in line with your bottom right knee. So there's no pressure on this left knee. You're catching your foot and bringing the stretch into our quads. And you're really looking for stability here on your left side. We don't want to feel wobbly. We don't want any sudden movements because our knee is bent, nothing jerky. Breathing deeply into our quad. We'll release our foot, extend it long. We'll roll onto our belly, and this is just a transition over to our left side. So we're catching our hand, finding the balance here on our left side body, bending into right knee, catching our foot, aligning our right knee over our left. So we're in a nice, safe stretch, not overdoing it on the knee, not pulling it back and putting too much strain on it, just making it all about releasing the calf. We'll let go of our right foot. And now here's our next transition. We're simply going to roll onto our back. How's that? Really keeping things low and grounded to the mat. Now take your right knee, pull it into your chest. How's your leg feeling? You can explore the hip with a gentle little rock. We'll bring our foot up to the ceiling, keeping our knee nice and soft. You could interlace your fingers right below your knee, on your hamstring, or at your calf. You might not want to do the knee itself because we don't want to tempt it to hyperextend. We want a good soft knee. The more relaxed your foot, the more you're going to focus on your hamstring. If you liked some of that shin ankle work, give your toe a point. If it's the calves that need love, give your foot a flex. Bring your heel to the ceiling. Again, long released exhales. They're going to tap into the rest and digest portion of our nervous system. And that's exactly what we want when we're stretching our legs, because our legs respond to the flight-fight portion of our nervous system. Flight. When we're very activated, we might feel like we need to run. So if we deactivate, we can get a better stretch in our legs. Bend your knee, give it a little hug, send it long. And take left knee up to meet right knee, give your knee a hug, rock it out. And again, float your leg up. Bring your backs of your hands wherever it feels natural, keeping knees soft. The more neutral the foot, the more we focus on the hamstring itself. Remember, you can play with pointing or flexing the foot. We want to continue with our nice long and released exhales. We'll bend our knee, give ourselves a hug and squeeze. Let's draw our right knee up to meet our left knee. Take a couple little circles. We'll give ourselves a great big hug. Extend our legs long. And just take a moment to notice the effects of stretching the lower part of the body. Focus on the legs, but oftentimes tight legs can have an impact on our lower back. So noticing how that feels. This is a wonderful space if you do want to take a few moments of savasana to focus on breath and body. Whenever you're ready to come out of the pose, you might wiggle fingers and toes. Have a little roll onto your right side. And just gently press yourself back up to seated. As always, thank you for joining me on the mat. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.